Episode 86, this is Rod Boomer Guitar Sessions. Okay, today we're going to go down the path of essential scales, stories, and things we want to do in 2025. We want to up the ante, we want to get better as players. How do we do that? So for my students, what I set the goal for, the beginner to intermediate, is let's work on learning how to improvise. What does improvise mean? Improvise means that you're able to create music on the fly, that you don't have to wait a week before you practice any song and jamming along with any song. To be able to jam is to improvise. Okay? So in order to do that, we need vocabulary. All right? The easiest, the quickest way on, I know, to get really directly involved in the process of guitar players to play improvisation, to improvise, is to make use of this week's scale, this lesson scale. And it is the Minor Pentatonic Scale. When I say the Minor Pentatonic, it is what many would consider to be the desert island of rock scales, the desert island of blues scales, the desert island of country scales. That it is used a whole bunch in a lot of different styles of music, blues, R&B, even jazz. You listen to Kenny Burrell and his Midnight Blue album, all right? So what it is a 5-note scale, and we got, I'm going to show you the fingering. I'm not even going to talk about intervals and all that. I don't want to do too much theory. All we need to be able to do, theoretically speaking, is to play in key. So it's going to be 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4. So that is like a desert island rock scale. When I say that, you can use this scale. So we got Smoke on the Water, we have Bad Penny by Rory Gallagher, we have all kinds of, like Stairway to Heaven, we have the classic rock, heavy metal, Tony Iommi and Black Sabbath. It is the roots of so many things. Buddy Guy, Eric Clapton, okay? They all use this scale, okay? So now, it is shaped like a box. And it's sometimes known as the people scale because it is so kind of inviting. You can come up with music, and it is used in everything, and it is, if there's like a Johnny Thunder scale, this would be it. Who's just Chuck Berry 20 years later. So anyway, so it is a scale with ancient origins. It's got African origins in their folk music. It's got kind of Oriental, like the China and Japan and all that. So like the got those kind of origins. It's all over it. It's not just the blues. It is not just rock and roll. It is not just whatever misconceptions you have of it. It is a versatile scale. It is usable. So what we're going to do, it's got, I say it's universal appeal. So you learn this, you can play in lots of different styles of music. Okay, lots of different songs. It's the first scale. I would just say, use this scale. If all you do is practice this scale and learn how to jam with it in 2025, that's a step forward. All right? 5 notes, simply. Okay? Works across genres. It's seemingly the scale. If what we do, what we want to practice this, we don't just want to go like this. We don't just want to do that. We don't just want to skirt through the scale. What we want to do is we want to phrase notes. When I'm saying that, we want to play melodies. So that is my number one tip to working on this scale is finding out where the root notes are and then play melodies that land on the root. Now you don't always have to do that, but that is a good starting spot. I call this tethering. All that's examples of taking the minor pentatonic scale and playing phrases. Phrases are things that we can hear, we can sing. It's not just somebody getting all notey on the guitar, getting all just playing mindless stuff. It is something we can hear and sing and feel. That's what the minor pentatonic scale is good for. Now, it's kind of a hidden geometry in this scale. When I say that, it's like everybody, when they talk about the minor pentatonic scale, they talk about box patterns. So there's a lot of 2 notes per string action. Like that. That's a box pattern. This is Angus Young. This is Alvin Lee. This is Pat Travers. Box pattern. Now, that's called the house pattern. That's an extension on the. All right. So now here is a thing that I'm one of my beliefs. It's like, everybody's telling you about playing 5 scale patterns across the fingerboard. And maybe someday that'd be very, very useful. But to get really involved with the sound of the minor pentatonic scale, it's my belief that sometimes it's not necessary to play all over the fingerboard with the notes of the minor pentatonic, because there's going to be some dead spots that we never find any licks that are within that. So we want to find phrases and phrasing that's easy to play, and it sounds like the minor pentatonic scale. So when I go like this, the sound of that slide, that's the sound of the minor pentatonic scale. So what I do, instead of thinking about going all over the fingerboard, learning all these different scale fingers, I pick 2 fingerings that I think are most important. The A string, and then the E string, I'm sorry, and then the A string. And then what I do is I find the extended versions of those. So for this one, what I do is I take off the 1-4 combination on the 4 lower strings. Rarely do you play the 1-4 finger combination on the 4 lower strings, unless you're Van Halen or something. So, but like the Pat Travers, the guys that use this scale and they phrase with this, the Gary Moores of the world, they slid. Where they got that note was by sliding down. Now, the top 2 strings, we can use the 1-4 finger combination, and it is used often. All right. But what we can also do is we can avoid even the top 2 strings. extended scale. And then on your A string, all right? So this is an extension, and all I'm doing is finding the box patterns. Now, as part of this lesson, I will include fingerings. I'll include these fingerings. So the minor pentatonic scale, we're doing in the key of A minor. And basically what you do is you get a backing track, and then you try to play melody over top of the backing track. All right? That is the game. And make it fun. If it's not fun, you're not going to practice it. That's the key thing. So in the Guitar Collective, we talk about practice. It's like the thing about practice is if it's not fun and you don't see the relevance, don't practice it until you see the relevance. Okay? So you want to learn to improvise. You want to learn to sound like your ears. This is going to be the scale to get on board with. So I'm going to jam a little bit with you and for you so you know what it's supposed to sound like over top of. That's another thing. What is cool about the minor pentatonic scale is if we add one note, and I did it, I almost forgot to tell you about it, that flat 5 interval, if we add that one note, that'll make it a blues scale. And that is, the blues scale and the minor pentatonic scale are mostly interchangeable. So. There you go. Play phrases. So that you learn the fingerings, you get familiar with the fingerings, and then get creative with it. Listen to the players that use it. Listen to the players that use it. Who uses the minor pentatonic scale? Eric Clapton, Tony Iommi, Gary Moore, Warren Haynes, Government Mule, and Allman Brothers. He's Joe Bonamassa. All those guys, this is their main scale. Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix. All right, those are some. Anyway, check out the description. This lesson will be in the description. This is the minor pentatonic scale, the blues scale. Kind of got 2 scales in one lesson. This is Rod. Boomer Guitar Sessions. You'll have more of these in the future. More of these in the future. My goal for you is to be able to improvise in 2025 and beyond. I hope this video stays with us for the next 50 years. So anyway. This is a time capsule. I'll see you later. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. and this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you, and always remember,